Hi everyone, it's Tuesday, June 24th, 2014. It's been a while since I logged on here, but I'm back in front of the computer here. I took a trip and out of town, and so I wasn't really able to get on here, but I got a lot of good footage, and I really look forward to sharing some of it with you. Maybe this weekend I'll sit down in front of the computer and load some videos up and start editing it. I got plenty of footage of some really cool stuff, so I'd really like to share that with you. But in any case, I'd like to just go over some of the goals that I have set in, like sort of the synergy in what the goals I have and how that'll be affecting what you'll be seeing. Sort of like sometimes people say you can't see the forest for the trees. Okay, that's an important concept. Okay, in my experience, it's true that you sometimes need time and perspective to sort of distance yourself from seeing primarily a tree, right? Maybe sometimes you're so close to a tree, that's all you can see is the tree, right? You can't see the forest for the trees. So interestingly enough, the more time that you have away from a tree, the more that you can see 2 trees, 3 trees, 4 trees, reasonably, 4 trees, 5 trees, etc., etc. So because now you're gaining some perspective. So perspective and a view from a distance is oftentimes important to gain an understanding of past situations, past relationships, or current relationships. You sometimes need time to process meanings and situations. So what does this have to do with meditation? Well, every goal you set will, as long as it's acted on, drive you to a new destination. Over the course of the next 60 days, I'll be meditating. I've never done 60 days of meditation consistently without a day in between. Recently, however, I did have an opportunity to travel out of town, and where I was, there was plenty of alcohol available, and etc., etc., plenty of alcohol available. But before I left, I didn't know if I was an avid drinker or not. And again, I primarily stopped drinking this year as a way of sacrificing that for Lent, the Catholic practice of sacrificing that for Lent. Funny thing is, I'll time that out. Funny thing is, when I went to the church here in Weslaco, I went to the church St. Pius that day, and I decided to give up drinking. I said, you know what, let me try 40 days. And I thought at that time, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That is a tremendous amount of time to not drink anything. And luckily, truthfully speaking, in those 40 days, I probably had a minuscule amount that won't even really fit in that. It was maybe I think it was a sample. I went to go see a show, and I was with my friend Jess, and they gave a sample of that. So that was that in 40 days. But it's a big improvement nonetheless. Again, that was that. And then about 50, 60 days after, I think 40 some days after, I did have some wine there after that. Now, after that wine, I have again not drank for a while, probably another 60, 70 days now. So we're looking at almost 100 days with minimal drinking. Recently, I went out of town, and where I went, it was, you could say, every excuse in the world to drink, right? I went to what's known as one of the hottest, maybe the hottest club in the world. in the United States or the world. I went to that club. It's a club named Hakkasan. I didn't drink there. And I went to one of the biggest party events, celebration events. I didn't drink there. So I literally had not 1 ounce of alcohol during this time. Of course I was tempted. Of course I was. But, you know, I was after something deeper. I wanted to develop a sense of self-control, because it was before I even left. I was watching something by David Lieberman, and he was talking about how ultimately self-control is the deciding factor whether you obtain a fulfilling life. Self-control. He went into this and how that is the deciding factor. And he went into temptation. You know, the further a beer is away from you, the easier it is to say no to the beer, the closer it is. So I literally went up close and personal to the alcoholic beverage, and I had absolutely nothing. Again, I was looking to search within myself my true desire, my true self, my truest form of self, and not get my pleasure from internal or external pleasures, but truly anchor my pleasures with as much as possible, as much as I can muster from within myself, from within my spiritual energy, from my spiritual power from within, to really get as much joy and pleasure from that. It's sort of mind-blowing, really. I don't think I would have ever said those things, or I didn't see myself saying things like that maybe a year ago. I would have liked to think that I could do that, but I don't think I would have. Make sense? In other words, talk is cheap kind of concept, but I actually did achieve that this weekend to some degree. So I'm very happy about that. Very pleased, and I give all glory to God for giving me that strength, because that did take some strength. So then, when I look at my goals that I wrote down this year, I wrote these down about 3 months ago. I have 2 goals. One is to meditate daily. Okay? When I wrote this down, I said sit down at my meditation and do 10 minutes minimum. Start the day there and end the day there. Okay, that's my goal, 10 minutes a day. I luckily have, with God's blessing, have built that up to maybe 30 minutes now, being a good goal and what I'm actually accomplishing. But 20 minutes is pretty easy now. And if you know about meditation, you know that that's not super easy, because it's been said that meditation is probably the most difficult thing you can do. And I know that sounds completely ironic. Like, how could doing nothing be the most challenging thing you could do? I know. I understand that. Trust me. That's why it's so difficult. Like, it's so difficult because it's seemingly so easy. I have no idea why we are built that way. It's mind-blowing to me. So I like to keep things simple and establish my goal is to meditate for the next 60 days straight. So it started out, I think it started with, that same guy, that same preacher that was given the same father, the same man who was giving the lesson that day at St. Pius. I saw him, he comes and works out here at this gym. And I talked to him, I said, listen, what is it about, and I kind of already knew it's like we sometimes look for the answers we know within us, and that's what a teacher is. A teacher teaches us what we already know. And so I went to him and I said, you know, what is it about Lent and how does that work? And he said, you sacrifice something to let God in, to let God in more. And that's what I had thought, that's what I was doing, and that's what I wanted to do. It was just a sincere request to grow as a person, and that was it. It was that simple. And I know that some of you watching this may not understand that, and I know some of you watching this completely understand that. That's fine. I understand. I understand both. And so, that was it. I mean, and here we are, 100 days later, now I got us a goal of 60 days to meditate for 60 days straight. My goal is 30 minutes each of those. It started out with 10 or like 20 minutes a day. Now I'm picking up to 30. Maybe by those 60 days I'll be meditating an hour a day. That would be pretty significant. For me, as a person, that would be pretty huge in its overall growth. Okay? And my second goal is to, in 90 days, to hit Ruby 6-star with Advocare. Okay? And I'd like to see how both of these goals being established and put out here in the front. Oh, by the way, on this trip, that is all I did use is Advocare products. Whether it was the Thermal Plus for energy, the Muscle Fuel for more energy, because I was at an event where we were dancing for about 5, moving up and down, standing, traveling, 10 hours a day. And that sounds excessive, but that's the reality. Or let's round it down to 7 hours a day. I mean, it's excessive, but that's what was going on. And so I really needed a significant amount of nutrients, water, rehydrate, spark, Thermal Plus, Muscle Fuel, protein shakes. So that's actually what I was using during my vacation, or my trip, right? And so those are my 2 goals. So meditate for 60 days, and I have them on the board. That's what I'm looking over here, and that will be from June 22nd to July 22nd, June 22nd to July 22nd, and then the next 60 days will be July 23rd to August 19th. And so I'm making this video. You're free. I look to continue meditating at 1:30 here at UFC, and so hopefully with much hope we will start a meditation group. And with these 2 goals, see where we can go. My third goal is, of course, continue with CrossFit, and let's see how good we can actually excel in our bodies and get stronger, more muscle, and break more records. But this is the current dreams that I'll be working on, and hopefully you watching will join me on this path on some level, whatever level you want to join me on. Let's go to this path together and work through this. And those are pretty challenging goals. If you really look into those goals, you'll realize that they are not easy goals. Okay? So keep that in mind, and hopefully you'll join me on this path. Feel free to email me or call me or message me here on Facebook or YouTube or my number. Feel free to do whichever you like, and let's wrap this up. But those are my 2 goals, and the 2 main goals. And of course CrossFit is sort of always going on, but I'll be putting more energy into getting in better shape with you all, those of you that train with me as well. Okay, so they're pretty lofty goals, but I'm excited, and I need a little more rest. I think in this trip I didn't get to sleep too much, but I'm sure by tomorrow, a little bit of jet lag going on today, but I'm sure by tomorrow, once my nutrition gets back in play and my body starts firing off, the nutrients start coming back in, I can kind of feel it sort of permeating through my body again. It's a little bit off, but I know it's going to come back. So have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Let me know. Namaste.